You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 222. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast. It is a solo with me, and today we are feeling festive. Don't turn off. I know anytime I see anything Christmassy at the moment, I think, are you kidding me? It was just summer. Why are we doing this now? But we are. Because if we do the work now, particularly if you're a small business or if you are a brand ambassador, if you start planning and you start doing the work now, it is going to make the next few months a whole world easier. I know from my point of view, I'll be working on some Christmas-based campaigns for members of the mastermind group, and I'm already plotting Christmas with my one-to-one clients. So don't think it's too early. It feels it. You don't have to reveal your plans to the world just yet, but it is useful to get these things in the diary. And it's not just Christmas. We know that moving out from Christmas as well, there are some really key dates that we need to be aware of. So that's what we're going to look at today. Now, obviously, I have just mentioned Mastermind. So if you are looking for additional support on the run up to Christmas, there are loads and loads of trainings available inside the group. We have a monthly mindset masterclass, a monthly marketing masterclass. We have social media trainings twice a month. We have weekly Q&As, we have opportunities, we have social media critiques, we have all sorts going on there. That is my paid for membership group. So head on over to riafreemanpr.co.uk and you can find out all about Mastermind there. But whether you're in Mastermind or not, this is still good. So we're going to look at 6 things you can do now to help your business at Christmas. And some are really easy to do. Some are a little bit more, not difficult, they're time consuming. I'm just double checking. I think all are free as well. So that's a win because we do like a bargain as per the book that I have written as well. Also good if you're looking for some more inspiration. So the first thing I'm going to urge you to do is to make a plan. However you like to make a plan, do it that way. So if you like to do it with paper, whether you like to do it on the computer, whether you like to use different apps, whatever you like to do, do it. Personally, I prefer writing things down. I think because I spend most of my life looking at a computer, it is nice to write things down. And I think it's easier in a visual way. What I'm about to kind of suggest, or part of it, is much easier if things are written down and you can see them. So I would urge you to get some kind of planner. Now this can be you've got one already. There's a brilliant one that I was kindly given by the lovely Emily Cole, which is a huge planner which has got 4 columns in that you can use for planning what's happening with all your life and all your bits of work, or you can use it for social media or business or whatever. But you could also, if you haven't got one of those, they are available for next year, I think, as well. You can just hop onto Google and look at free month to view planners. There are loads of ones that you can print off for free that are available for free. Print one of those off. I like the month to view because you can actually then not just put on those key dates, but you can work them back as well when you start to promote them. So get some of those, super easy to print off, and then think about the key dates for you. So things like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, final order dates for Christmas, final postal dates for Christmas. If you have got bespoke items or personalised items, maybe you've got different cut-off dates for different things. Maybe you've got different cut-off dates if people want things gift wrapped. Write those all down because that then is going to help you see what you are aiming for and when, and then you can work backwards because you don't just say, oh, today's last postage day, last orders for Christmas. You say, well, I'm going to give people a month's notice and say, don't forget, we've got 28 days to go, only 7 days to go, or whatever time intervals you want to put. You can do that if you know what you're aiming, and you can jot that into your plan. That then means that it's much easier when you want to, create your content around that, which is a different point. We're not going to go into that yet, but it's a really good thing to do. Now, if you have got brand ambassadors, I would also reach out to them at this point as well and say, we are working on this plan. We have got these key dates that are important to us, and we would love to get you included in our Christmas campaign. Do you have any ideas? Do you have any thoughts? Or even share your thoughts with them. You can then start to plan in when they're going to do specific things. Maybe they're going to do takeovers for you, or reels, or they're going to come and do lives, or they're going to create some content, or they want to run a competition. I don't know. The world is very, very much your oyster here. But if you have got that in there, that's really handy. And equally, if you are an ambassador, reach out to the brands that you work with and say, Christmas is definitely coming. Who told me I can't remember how many days now. And obviously you'll listen to this on a different day to I record, but it is coming quite quickly. I know it's just September. I know it feels like summer's just gone, but it will come up quickly. And if you're a brand ambassador and you're thinking, right, I want to do some really good things for the brands that I work with, and I would definitely say that's a good place to start, you need to reach out to them and ask them what they're planning, because really you need to be creating the content. You need to be, working with them on what they've got, what's important to them, what they're really pushing on the run up to Christmas or Black Friday or Small Business Saturday or whatever they're involved with. They may also have events they're going to, like the London International Horse Show, Your Horse Live. I know that's before Black Friday, but this last quarter is a really, really big deal for small businesses. So anything you can do to help, please do. We know these are uncertain times, and anything you can do will be hugely appreciated. And that starts with reaching out and saying, what are your plans? What can I do to help? Would you like some ideas? What are you focusing on? What are your key product pushes? What are your key campaign pushes over the next few weeks and months? Because that then allows you to have a little bit more time and breathing space to come up with some really good content ideas and to capture them in a way that isn't that pressurized. Equally, I don't know about you, but the more we get into winter, the shorter the days are, the harder it is to create good content in terms of photography and videography, because the weather is so unpredictable. Even if it is a dry day, the light can be very, very blue, which can make people look not great. Or it can be dark, and a lot of the time it is rainy. So if you can plan it so you have got some, this is option A, but you've got some other options as well, it's going to take the pressure off you. So you as an ambassador as well need to make a plan. You need to reach out to the brands that you work with, reach out to the brands that you love even, and say that you're working on your Christmas campaigns. How can you help? And also personally, from your point of view, what do you want to do to promote Christmas? Do you want to run a 12 days of Christmas? Do you want to run competitions? Do you want to get quotes and tips and tricks and hints from people? What do you want for your own platform, and how are you going to pull that off? Who do you need to work with to do that? So that's just point one, make a plan. Making a plan is good. Making a plan for your social, getting those key dates in and starting to just see where the gaps are in your schedule is really important. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is getting the dates. These can then be added onto a calendar if you want, but these are more from sources that aren't you. So things like magazines, websites, who are running things like gift guides, competitions and giveaways. If you're a brand, reach out to the places where you want to be featured and see if they are running a gear guide, if they're running a Christmas gift guide, when are their deadlines, what do they need from you. And please, for the love of God, if someone asks you for 50 words in a high-res image, that's what they want. Send them 50 words in a high-res image. Don't send them 400, 500 words and a load of images they can't use, because you just won't get picked. So reach out to them, get their deadlines, get what they're doing. You might also find that some websites and some magazines categorize the Christmas content. So they might do things like for him, for her, for dogs, for horses, for under 50 quid, over 50 quid, over £250, whatever, depending on the publication that you're looking at, it will vary. So get clear guidelines, ask how they want to do it, and also think about how you're going to send these images, particularly if you've got quite a few to send. There are some better ways and some worse ways of sending images. So do the research and find out what's going to work the best for the place that you're sending, but definitely reach out. Now, you may also find that you have missed some deadlines already. Some were the end of August, because that's just the way that some people work. And particularly if you are a monthly publication, you will find out that the cutoff dates, or you're working with a monthly publication, I should say, you'll find out that the cutoff dates are quite a long way before publication date, just because of the sheer volume of stuff that they have to manage. Now, it is worth asking if there is any space in any of these features, even if you have missed the deadline. And it also is worth speaking to them about whether they have got other opportunities, such as online, such as social, such as competitions and giveaways. If you really want to be featured in a particular publication, there is often a way to do this. You'll also find that online, the deadlines are much closer to the day they get published. So that could be an option. Even if you've missed the print version, you might still have a good opportunity and a good ability to get involved with anything online as well, or anything on social too. So reach out to those people, get those dates, see what they need from you, and start to plan. It doesn't mean you have to send completely different stuff to each person, but if somebody wants 50 words, someone wants 25 words, and someone will take up to 100, send what they ask for. Don't just go, well, I've done it once, I'm not doing it again. It just won't get featured and you'll just annoy people. So put the time into that. So that's the second point on the 6-point plan. Get dates. The third point is around strategic gifting. This is something we see a lot with brands who want to work with specific influencers to help broaden their message. And now is a really good time to think hard about who you may or may not want to work with on the run up to Christmas. If you have got customers who are brilliant unofficial ambassadors for you and flag way for you and share their purchases and share what they buy, they could be a great person to gift to. Now, of course, when we look to work with anybody, we want to amplify our message and increase our reach. So it isn't a bad shout to look at following and look at engagement ever. But I think if it's a customer, I would be happier with a smaller following and even a lower engagement, because I'm kind of doing two things. I'm thanking that person and I'm also getting some additional exposure and additional coverage. If I was picking a influencer just not randomly, because I don't think you should ever pick someone randomly without any merit or without doing the research, but if I was looking at people who my sole objective was to get them to increase my reach, then I am likely to really focus in on their following and their engagement and all the things that we talk about a lot. So you might need to do some research on that. You might need to look at who else they work with. You might need to look at the content they create. Would you like your brand to be featured in that way? Do you like their tone? Do you like the way they speak? Do you like the language they use? Do you like how they capture their life? Look into all of that, because you need to make sure that they are your target audience. Otherwise it is a waste of time and money and it's just likely to annoy people. But if you have found people that you want to work with, reach out to them and ask them how they work. If they are influencers and they have a decent following, be prepared to pay. I know I said most of these were free, but this could be free, or at least offer something of significant value because you want that exposure. Smaller influencers, you might just need to give product. It depends, but I think it's really important to ask people on what terms they work on, how do they work. Ask them what the sort of cost to get involved with this is, and ask them what you're going to get for that as well. And don't be afraid to ask this, because that's how relationships can turn sour quite quickly, when you're expecting one set of stuff and you are given another set of stuff and everybody feels aggrieved. The influencer perhaps feels like they've done a really, really good job because they've delivered over and above what they were thinking, but you've interpreted that conversation in a different way and you are cross about it. So do the research, get the communication lines open and be really clear about what you'd like, but equally be prepared to have to pay for that, particularly if your requirements for content are huge. If you're saying that you want to send someone something and you'd like them to feature them in their stories and do a grid post, that's one thing. If you're saying you also want a reel, a YouTube, a feature on YouTube, a TikTok, this and this, there's a lot more content creation time that's going into that list of requirements than anything else. So be prepared to pay, but do start looking around for who you might like to send something to, if that's what you like to do, and start to make a shortlist of those people and then start reaching out. Our next point is about email newsletters. If you haven't got one, please start one. You can start mailing lists for free. I'm sure we've had podcasts about this before, but you can start a mailing list for free. You can start it today. And even if you'll have one person to start with, but you can contact that person whenever you like, regardless of whether or not the platform that you use choose to show it to that person. So let's say we've got a mailing list. It doesn't have to be massive, but it's good that you've got one. It could be a great opportunity to think about some additional lead magnets and freebies that will attract people to your mailing list to help them, so they join up to your mailing list as well. Christmas could be a really good time to do that. If you can think of some Christmassy content or how-tos or 5 ways to, it could be a great different piece of content that can get people excited and engaged with what you're doing. But that's a side step. So let's assume we have got our email list and we've got our newsletter list, and we'll use our lovely software to help us get there. We can then integrate this with our social media plan to look at those key dates for us, and then when we need to be sending our emails out. Now, some people with mailing lists, and I really like this idea, usually can offer early access to people on the mailing list versus people on their social. So for example, if you were planning a big Black Friday sale or a Black Friday discount or something like that, you could offer it to your mailing list 24 hours before everybody else gets it, meaning that especially if there are limited numbers of items, they get first dibs as an extra reward for their loyalty and for being part of your mailing list. So look at that mailing list, look at your plan from point 1, and then plot when you're going to send out these mailings and what they're going to include. Which comes on to point, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on point 5 now, point 5, which is you need to start putting together your collateral, I'm going to call it. So your images, your videos, your reels, your captions, how you're going to do things, what you want to include. Now is a good time to do that. Now is a great time to be scheduling photo shoots or doing your own photo shoots, putting content together, creating some reels, and just thinking about how you're going to put together this Christmas content for maximum gain. So this could be a great opportunity to put together some cool reels about, how to pack things or what outfits or great gifts for. There are some really good ideas out there, and I would definitely urge you to go and have a scroll through reels and a scroll through TikToks. If you're looking to create some really cool reels, look at the ideas out there and how you can adapt those. But it's much easier to do that now than when you are absolutely up against it time-wise. You've got Black Friday, you've got Small Business Saturday, you've got last orders. It's another stress you don't need. So I would urge you to put that time in now and start to think about what you need to create effective campaigns and how these align with your plan. From an influencer point of view as well, it's a great time to start plotting what content you need to pull off what you're trying to achieve as well. It might be that you say, right, I'm going to have a photo shoot or a video shoot on this date, and I'm going to get it all done so I don't have to worry about it again. Because it usually, I find, if I leave content to the last minute, it takes me about 6 times longer than I expect. And if I do it in advance, it doesn't. And also, I really like the smug feeling of having done it in advance. Just level with you there. I really like it. It makes me feel like I've got my life together. Whether or not that's true, different story, but it really does help. I remember a few years ago, I did a giveaway. I don't know how many giveaways I did, but I did a stop motion video, I know, for each giveaway. Took flipping ages, but because I wasn't really up against it time-wise, because I'd allocated that time before, I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than you'd think. Maybe I should bring stop motion back for 2022. Might do that. I don't know. I might do, I might not. Who knows? But yeah, think about that content. And it could be if you're an influencer, you've got friends you can meet up with who will help you take pictures and you can take pictures of them. And if you're a brand, it gives you a great opportunity to have a really good, solid period of time getting all that content, all those photographs and all those videos, which is a much more efficient use of time if you do it all in one go. So think about what you need and what you need it for. So you might need different pictures for social, but also picture for newsletter headings, other mail outs and things like that. Or you might need landscape videos, portrait videos, landscape pictures, portrait pictures, square pictures, if you know what you need, you can do it all at the same time, and it will really maximize the effort you put in to do that. It's a really much better use of time. And last but by no means least, whether you are a brand or an influencer, your own stuff. So your own content, obviously, but also your own collaborations, your own competitions, your own gift guides, your own blogs, your own vlogs. We do rely, when we're talking about, when I said about point 2, about getting dates from websites, magazines, etc., we're obviously tapping into other people's Christmas content, other people's gift guides, vlogs, blogs, etc. But you can do your own. And I would urge you to do that. Doing these collaborative efforts can be a great way to help inform your audience, but also can be a great way to help, you spread you spread your brand. Because if you collaborate with other brands and you say, I'm putting together a gift guide about X because you've got a relevant product, maybe you're doing, I don't know, a gift guide for dogs because you do a dog product, but you probably don't do every product that a dog could ever want for Christmas. So maybe you make dog treats. Well, that doesn't mean you couldn't collaborate with somebody who makes dog shampoos or lotions and potions, dog beds, dog leads, dog collars, dog coats, dog toweling robes, I don't know. Dogs have lots of things. I'm trying to think of other things that dogs got, but lots of dog things. And what a great way of getting yourself in front of that audience should that person share. And I would highly recommend that you say to people, I am doing this. The inclusion is free, but the condition, in inverted commas, is that you share it on your platforms as well. You share it as a link, you put it in your newsletter. I'm really aware that we're not going to put directly conflicting products in there, and therefore I would really appreciate that. It's free for you to be involved, and I don't think that's an unreasonable request. It's also worth, particularly in places like the Small and Supercharged Mastermind group, I'll be actively encouraging people to start doing this now and to start sharing what they need. So if they need people who do other things that they don't do, get it out there, start asking people to work with you. You'll find it's hugely valuable, and it's nice to work with people. There should hopefully be some reciprocal opportunities as well. So maybe you've done a gift guide and someone who is kind of got that foresight and thinks that's a really cool thing, then reaches out to you and says, oh, that's really, really great. Do you fancy popping on a live with me to talk about something Christmas based, and we can give the gift guide a plug? How awesome would that be? So be open to opportunities as well. Create your own content. Think about things that you can do, even if they take a bit of time. I know when I do Podmas, it does take time, it really does, but it is really good fun, and it's a great way for members of Mastermind to engage with other people and for other people to learn about them as well. And it does take time, but it is worth it. And that's why, even though by the end of recording Podmas I'm usually on my knees, I do it all over again in a heartbeat. Oh, I'm a sucker for punishment, but I will. I might just change the format a bit. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. So the 6 things you can do now to help your business in readiness for Christmas, not the catchiest headline. Make a plan, get dates from external sources, consider strategic gifting, work on your email newsletters and the schedule you're going to implement there, get your collateral sorted, your pictures, your videos, your reels, and also think about what you can do yourself to create your own amazing content. Thank you so much for tuning in today. One last promotional plug, don't turn off, is the book. A big, big thank you if you've bought the book, if you've read the book, if you've reviewed the book. It's all very much appreciated. And if you're thinking, you know what, I could really do with some help on how to market myself, how to supercharge my brand no less on a budget, head over to Amazon, search for my name or Small and Supercharged, and you will find the paperback or Kindle version of the book. I hope you are I think you're going to love it. The reviews are really good, and I've had so many kind comments. So a huge thank you if you've bought, if you've reviewed, if you've rated, particularly if you have left a 5-star review. You're my favourite people. Thank you very, very much. We will catch up next week. Have an amazing week. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care.